YouTube, welcome to another video. I cannot remember whether I did a video on this or not, so what I'm going to do is demonstrate how to make my Uncle Clyde's recipe for cornbread. And you start with 2 boxes of Jiffy cornmeal mix, corn muffin mix is what it's called. I don't know why he always used this one, so that's what he used. There's 2 boxes into there, and we will need to add, I'm not used to measuring because I never saw him measure, so I'm going to try and measure it for you this time and see how it works out. But I think it usually amounts to about a cup of flour added to that. That way it doesn't taste like store-bought cornbread or artificial cornbread. So a cup of flour added to the 2 boxes. Use 2 boxes. And I'm going to use a cup of sugar. I know, it's sweet already. A cup of sugar. Now I'm going to mix this up, because I think I have the wrong size pan, and it's usually done in one of the old-fashioned metal pans, and this, when I mix it down, is going to look like it's going to be too much for that little pan, so I'm going to use one of these throwaway aluminum pans. That's all mixed up. Now into this, if you decide, you can add corn, like a whole kernel corn, to this, and it gives it a nice little, it gives it a different, I can't remember what they call it, some kind of corny bread, but it was Jack something he used to call it. I can't remember what it was. So that's done. Into this I'm going to need 2 eggs, and I'm going to need a stick of butter. So the butter's in the oven melting. You put the butter in the pan and melt it. So you make a hole in the center of this as if you were making dough. And I'll drop 2 eggs into the middle of that. The milk, you're going to add milk as just according to what's needed. And you'll know that when you're mixing it. I have the lactose intolerant milk, so that'll work. It doesn't matter what kind of milk. Trying to get the butter to finish melting. And you need that whole stick. You're going to use 2 sticks of the butter. You're going to melt one and add it to the mixture. The other one is going to be in the pan. And that way you don't have to flour the pan. Yeah, a lot of people oil and flour their pan when they're baking. But with this cornbread, I guess it has so much butter in it until you don't need to do that. So that was a stick of butter, and all of it goes into there. The whole thing. Yeah, that's going to be too much. That little pan isn't going to make it. I don't know what size the pan is, but I know it's not going to make it. So I have this backup aluminum pan, which will work. It will work just fine. So into that, I'm going to add a full stick of butter. This butter is on a wedge. This year we're trying using the Irish butter. It has a slightly different flavor than regular butter. So as long as it's a stick of butter. So into the pan goes a stick of butter. The whole stick. Yes, the whole stick. And this will be mixed up. That's why you don't add your milk. You don't want it too wet, but you will add some milk. You definitely will add some milk. And how much milk, I'm not sure. Once this is mixed up, I'll pour it directly into the pan and bake it. So I only want to add, that looked like it was about 8 ounces of milk. Because remember, I added extra dry ingredients. I added an extra cup of flour. It will still be cornbread because you'll have all that cornmeal from the mix, the Jiffy mix. But the flour, the extra flour added, keeps it from tasting like it's just plain store-bought cornbread with no body to it. And no, I do not use margarine. I guess you can use substitute butter or margarine if you like, but like I said, this is his recipe. And when he made this cornbread, we all ate it. It was, it's a little on the sweet side. It's so good. My children even eat it. It's not dry at all. So, one thing about the pans, I have to get the right size pans, but sometimes I have to make 2 pans because some like corners, some like just the edges, and some don't care, so they'll eat the middle. See, that's just still a little too thick. And yes, you probably can use a mixer with this, but he never did, so I'm not going to use a mixer either. This will all be poured over into the pan. And then you will bake it for whatever time is needed. Again, I set my oven to 350. And with those thin pans like that, it doesn't take too much longer. Yeah, you'll build your muscles up. See, that's good. Almost like a cake mix. That's the consistency that you're looking for. That of cake mix. And the kids will think it's cake. You'll know it's not. But they're going to gobble it up. And it's taking just a little longer for this butter to melt. I don't know why, maybe because I have something else in the oven. I guess, I don't know, the other pan didn't take that long to melt. So this will go into the pan, and I may do an interim video so you can see what it looks like in the pan. It's just going to swim in the pan of butter. And then when it comes out, I'll just demonstrate to you what it looks like when it comes out. Okay, until next time, you two, thank you for joining me.